Vigil, Ante, and the Vigilante Antics by BelleAmant. Read by Oakshadow5. Chapter 54. Break down and build yourself up. Izuku was 4 years old when he learned that not all men are created equal. Izuku was 4 years old when he was diagnosed as quirkless, when his first friend turned against him, when his mother was ripped out of his life prematurely. Izuku was 4 years old when he met Hitoshi Shinzo, when he was given a chance to be a hero, when he was set on the path to greatness. Izuku was 15 years old when he found out that he could change the world. Izuku was 15 years old when he was told that he could bring his mother back, that he could make a family for himself and for Hitoshi. Izuku was 15 years old when he let more sins, more guilt, more burdens fall upon his shoulders. And he was 15 years old when he promised to carry that weight in order to do more good. Izuku was 15 years old when he caught Sensei's attention. He was 15 years old when he let himself get caught in order to become an informant. Izuku was 15 years old when he got caught up in more than he could probably handle. Izuku was 16 years old when he betrayed his sensei, going too far for a boy he barely knew. Izuku was 16 when he let his dreams, his morals, overwhelm his body, pushing himself to take down Muscular and save Kota. Izuku was 16 years old when he disappointed Sensei, and he was 16 years old when Hitoshi paid the price for his mistakes. Izuku is 16 years old and he's lost track of the days. They all blend together as Izuku creates for himself and for the League. He builds without stopping, because what more can he do? Sensei thinks that he has gone weak, being surrounded by so many heroes. Sensei does not trust him around others, does not trust his guilt, his sins, to keep him silent much longer. Izuku does not trust himself either. The urge to confess, to spill all of his misgivings and secrets, is strong, and it grows with every passing day. The Hitoshi, Izuku thinks, is enough to make him seethe with anger. That the only way Toshi can wake up again, Izuku knows, and it's enough to douse his boiling rage. Izuku works, body and soul numb from clashing emotions and thoughts. Izuku is trapped within the crossfire of his own heart, his own actions and morals. Izuku is 16 years old, and he just wants to keep his family. He just wants his family to be alive. Izuku creates, and creates, and creates, and days mean nothing when he makes stars and skeletons, guns and artificial guts, flash bombs and fake body parts. All that matters is that Izuku creates, and that Izuku atones. And one day, Hitoshi will wake up, and one day, his mom will be back, and then Izuku will be satisfied. But until that day, Izuku will create. Hitoshi Shinzo wakes up to an annoying, unstopping, beeping noise. He forces his eyes open, feeling more rested and more exhausted than ever before. A lady, some woman in blue scrubs that he's never seen before in his life, comes into the room to check on something. Most likely the IV bag that's connected to the tube sticking in his arm. "Hello?" Hitoshi tries, and she startles. "You're awake?" she exclaims, hands coming up to clasp together in front of her chest. "Young man, you've been asleep for quite some time." "Ah, that explains why his limbs feel all prickly." "Cool. About time. Where am I?" "The hospital." "Okay, that makes sense. I'm going to go call your emergency contacts. They've been worried sick. Do you need anything?" Right now, Hitoshi feels nothing but fatigue, so he shakes his head. "No, I'm all good." The lady nods, and after a few minutes of silence, she slips out of the room, leaving Hitoshi to his thoughts. He doesn't really remember much. No, that's not quite it. It's hazy, but it's there. They went to the camp. That was cool. Aizawa and the Wild Red Pussycats really pushed them on their strength, yeah? Yeah. And then, what happened after? Oh, right. The villains. But that was fine. Everyone was fine. Hitoshi knows that. Well, sure, a lot of people had to go to the hospital. Maybe that's why he's here? The door slams open. When had it been shut? It knocks Hitoshi out of his thoughts. He blinks, as lazily focusing on the two figures in the doorway. "Hey, dads," Hitoshi says, and then he's being pulled into a hug by two sets of arms. Aizawa and Yamada hold him tight, and Hitoshi feels a smile slip onto his face. It feels nice, like a family. But someone, is missing. "Where's Izu?" Hitoshi murmurs, and suddenly the embrace doesn't feel so warm, the arms around him going stiff. Something feels wrong, watching his adoptive parents pull back, not meeting his eyes, not answering his question. "Where is Izu?" Hitoshi asks again, and when they don't respond, he feels his heart beat faster as his voice grows louder. "Well, he was fine after the villains attacked. I know he was. I saw him. We beat them at the camp. We came back. So why isn't he here?" "Hitoshi," Aizawa says, and the word sounds so pained that it rips the air out of Hitoshi's lungs. He what?" Hitoshi asks, and for some reason he feels tears pricking his eyes. Feels like he can't breathe. "When we came back, you two went out for the night, like usual," Yamada says, voice soft, and Hitoshi tries to remember. "Sensei wants to speak with you," Dabi said, as straight on the ground. He wouldn't look at them, hadn't looked at them once. Izuku said that he had been at the camp, that they had faced one another at the very end. It seemed like Dabi couldn't face them anymore. "Then we'll see him," Izuku agreed, and a portal opened as if on cue. Izuku and Hitoshi shared a look, tried to comfort themselves with a single glance, and stepped through. "We got a call, hours later." A sudden movement, a hand thrown, and suddenly Hitoshi found himself flying through the air. He hit the wall and crumpled. The world went dark. "You were in the hospital. You've been here for quite a few weeks, in a coma. The doctors didn't know if you'd make it. Didn't think you could possibly wake up before the new term." Great. So I was in a coma. But where's Izuku?" Hitoshi tugs at the sheets, crumples them in his fists, wants to feel angry, but he's mainly just scared, because if he was thrown into a coma, then what happened to Izuku? "He left." Aizawa chokes at the words, and Hitoshi doesn't want to believe them. No, he wouldn't." "Hitoshi, tell me the truth," Hitoshi commands, tears falling from his eyes as Aizawa's go blank. "Tell me where Izuku is." "He left. He's been gone for a few days. We don't know where he is." Hitoshi lets his control fall. "He wouldn't do that." Hitoshi protests, because Izuku wouldn't just leave him. He's my partner. We're a team. He wouldn't leave me. He wouldn't. Hitoshi shakes his head, racks his brain for answers. Izuku wouldn't disappear on him. He knows that. He wouldn't just leave. Think, Hitoshi, think. Where would Izuku go? Not the beach. It's too obvious. Not the old apartment either. He wouldn't head back to the orphanage. And clearly, he isn't with a friend. "It'll all be worth it, Toshi," Izuku promised, as crinkling as he smiled at Hitoshi. "We'll have a family, and everything will be smooth sailing from there." He played with the joint in his hands as he spoke, the metallic black glinting in the unnatural light. "I know where he is," Hitoshi states, and his parents. His parents! Oh, Izuku, they've been so stupid! Look at him in shock. "Where is he?" Aizawa asks, but Hitoshi shakes his head. "I can't take it there, but I can bring him back." "No," Aizawa says immediately. "Hitoshi, kid, we can't." "And why not?" Hitoshi asks, anger flaring up as quickly as it left. "Why can't you? I can't just sit by if Izu isn't here. I need to find him." "Not alone," Yamada says, and his voice sounds almost pleading as he frowns. "Little listener, you've been out for a month. A month! School starts in a week, if that makes it more obvious. We've been worried sick, and you want us to let you disappear on us? We can't lose you too." "Izu isn't lost," Hitoshi protests. "He's not. He's just. Aizawa prompts, and Hitoshi takes a deep breath, focuses on his words as he lets them out one by one. "Izu is trying to fix things. We've always fixed things by ourselves. We've never been good at waiting." It's why they became vigilantes at 10 years old. For Kami's sake. Izo and I have a spot we always go to when we're upset. I know he'll be there, but if I show up with you guys, you show up without me, he'll panic. It's got to be me, and just me. The room is silent for far too long. Hitoshi staring at his parents as they take in his words, likely trying to find a way to fight him. But finally, Aizawa sighs and relents. Alright, he agrees. Alright, we'll let you go alone. Bring him back, okay? The house has been too empty without a problem, children. For the first time, the term sounds like a proper term of endearment, and Hitoshi can't help but tear up. I will, Hitoshi promises, and it's a promise he refuses to break. He'll bring Izuku back and make Izuku see the truth. See that they have everything they ever asked for. Hitoshi woke up and he's going to get Izuku from the league. Oh my gosh, these last 2 chapters are gonna be a wild ride. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed chapter 54 of Vigil, Ante and the Vigilante Antics, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!